previous class, we have discussed about Master Mahashiya's second visit to Sri Ramakrishna. During that time, Sri Ramakrishna had conversation with Master Mahashaya. He was telling about Pratap Chandra Hazra. Actually, Sri Ramakrishna was scolding him. And he told, I scolded Pratap Chandra Hazra because he was neglecting his household duties. The Pratap's brother came here, he stayed few days. He had nothing to do and said he wanted to live here. I came to know that he had left his wife and children with his father-in-law. He has whole brood of them, so I took him to task. See, this is the thing. This is what happened. See, here one thing you want to notice. If you want to lead a spiritual life, you have to renounce everything. That is generally what we understand, Vairagya. Without Vairagya, it is impossible to attain highest. So what is Vairagya? First we have to understand. Vairagya doesn't mean that renouncing everything. Vairagya is non-attachment. Tyaga means renouncing everything. Vairagya means you will do your duty, but you will not get attached. Here, Sri Ramakrishna, apparently it appears, he is instructing Pratap Chandra Hazra, you go and do your duty, family take your responsibility and do whatever necessary things. He was advising him. See, indirectly, it is conveying, same he is conveying to Master Mahashaya also. See, Master Mahashaya also had an intention to renounce everything. See how Sri Ramakrishna, how he teaches. And do you think that Sri Ramakrishna is diluting the ideal? No, it is not. He is not doing like this. Then later on we'll come to know. Here, see why Sri Ramakrishna, all avatars, according to the age, that Swamiji says, why the Buddhism left India? The greatest mistake done by Buddhists. Buddha is a great soul. What he achieved, what he attained, the truth he wanted to give. Later what happened? So indiscriminately people started giving that akar rope to everyone. Whether indiscriminately asking, giving this highest ideal to the ordinary person, so all renouncing their world, they are not ready to receive that highest knowledge. What happened later on? That was the cause for invasion country. See, that is why here Buddha was not like that. Buddha, his intention was not like that. Let everyone, it is open to all, but later on what happened, if you go on indiscriminately giving sannyasa to everybody, say at a time in one village, hardly maybe 30, 40 families will be there in one particular village. At a time, 1,000 monks if you go, what will happen? Where from they will give? To Bhiksha. The society becomes imbalance. That is why therefore, that is why our Sanatana Dharma says, you do your duty. According to Guna and Karma. See, Bhagavad Gita beautifully says, Sri Krishna says, Chaturvanyamaya system Guna Karma Vibhagasha. According to his nature and Guna, not by birth, his nature, his quality and his actions. Depends upon that, he will choose what path is required. See, this spirituality is evolution. You cannot change all of a sudden. That is why this Sanatana Dharma, we against this conversion. We should not convert anybody. Forcible if you do, what will happen? Reaction will come. You will not be ready to receive the highest ideal. Same thing, why ideologically you cannot impose your idea to anyone else. At the same time, even spiritually also, you cannot impart. Sri Ramakrishna, see, only the highest power he transmitted his all spiritual power to Narendranath, Swami Vivekananda, not for other disciples. See, he selected only Swami Vivekananda. There are 16 disciples, but same instruction he did not give to everyone, all of them. He chose only Swami Vivekananda. Why? See, according to his nature, Sri Ramakrishna taught. He is a great teacher. That is why we say great master. Sri Ramakrishna's life, in English, the life of Sri Ramakrishna, it is in given name, great master. Sri Ramakrishna, the great master. Why? He can identify what type of his name, what is his nature, and what is his quality. Accordingly, he is to teach. Once, what happened in the Sri Ramakrishna's life itself? One day, when Sri Ramakrishna was suffering from cancer, he was in Kashipur garden house. He was taking rest. So Sri Ramakrishna was living in his room. He is taking rest. But all other, the young disciples, Narendranath and Abhedana, Swami Abhedana, Kali Krishna, all the disciples, they burnt a fire, dhuni, and sitting and doing meditation, all those things. Suddenly, Narendranath one day asked Swami Abhedananda, later Swami Abhedananda, he was in Kali Krishna, Kali, I will go into deep meditation, you touch me, my body like this. Then Swami Vivekananda, Narendranath, he went deep meditation. Then the Narendranath, that's Kali Krishna, later he became Swami Abhedananda, he touched, as if something like electric shock had happened. He had experienced that kind, something entering inside. Then later on, suddenly, they were all young boys were sitting here, their play is like this only. They used to spend their time like this, meditations, singing, bhajan, like that, the young boys. Then suddenly, where Sri Ramakrishna was sitting somewhere in his room, suddenly he came to know. See, Sri Ramakrishna is not an ordinary, he is an avatara. You can see everything, what is happening. Suddenly called, when he sent one attendant, called that Narendra. Then he immediately was called. What you have done? You should not do unless you occur everything. See, he was going in a particular mood. He was spoiled. By God's grace, by Divine Mother's grace, somehow he was saved. See, it happened after his touch. Swami Abhedananda, last 4 days, next 4 days, he was completely changed. He was a bhakti. He was in the mood of bhakti. His path was yoga. And then his path was step by step. Suddenly he was changed. Almost just like an atheist he became. His mood has changed. Then somehow by the grace of his Guru, Sri Ramakrishna, he was brought down and then he was changed. He was channelized properly. Then Sri Ramakrishna scolded Swami Vivekananda. See, don't impose your right here. Maybe by your talking, by your intellectual power, or by your spiritual power also. Because Swamiji imparted his mood through spiritual power, not by intellectually. Just he was asked him to touch, that's all. Just if something will change. See, person who is not ready to receive that highest, your ideal, you should not go on preach like this. That's why Sri Ramakrishna forbade all sorts of things. That is why here clearly Sri Ramakrishna scolding Pratap Chandra Hazra, do your duty. Then he could have told, oh yes, good, you have done, well done, you have done. So you have left your family, very good. He did not say like this. It doesn't mean that he cannot practice spiritual life, being a householder. Yes, it is possible, but you have to do your duty. See, that is why in society should be balanced. The same mistake being done by Buddhism. That is why, because of that, Buddhists indiscriminately giving this sermon about highest ideal, people are not ready. That's totally what happened. The whole country became weakened. When completely weakened, then what happened? It was easy for invaders to attack India. That is Swamiji in his one of his lectures clearly says it was a great political blunder by Buddhism, he said, Swamiji. It doesn't mean that Buddha's ideal is not true. It doesn't mean that his ideal is not correct. His idea, his realization, enlightenment is true. But that highest idea should be given those who deserve. For that reason, to balance that one, it was that responsibility given to great Adi Shankaracharya had to come to bring back that balance. So what he did, through intellectually, he defeated this Buddhist by intellectually. Then he made this 4 mattas, and then he did not give indiscriminately sannyasa to everyone. What was necessary for them? Then he wrote so many stotras, and then those who were practicing on those days, what was the predominant practice? Say Shanmata Stapana, those who believe in Ganesha, those who believe in Shakti. So you follow same path. Ultimately, this is the truth. See, he presented the highest truth. This is your ideal. You have to reach through this path. Follow your path. Not necessary to come to everyone to renounce everything. So if you are ready, you need to come. That is why Shankara says, see, we have to understand not in context of present day. What context of those days you have to see. Then he says, Asampradayat Mudavat, those who are mudhas, those who are not ready, and those who don't have tradition should not be given this highest knowledge, he said. It doesn't mean that he is very conservative and very exclusive. Not like that. See, this highest ideal, this high Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya, if you go and tell any outside person, how will receive? The ordinary person who is working outside, if you go and Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya, you don't work this Mithya world, person, he doesn't have any food at all for his stomach. If you go and teach that highest Brahma Satya, who will receive? That's what Swami Vivekananda said, religion is not for empty stomach. First feed them. Swami Vivekananda said. So similarly, you follow, this is the ideal. That you tell that is ideal, this is the highest ideal. You have to reach that highest ideal through certain paths. Follow your ideal, according to your nature. That is similarly, same thing Sri Ramakrishna is telling. Follow. He is telling this Pratap Chandra Hazara, has scolded him. Why? You have left your family, your parent, your wife, children, without taking care of them. You are sitting idly, wasting your time, gossiping. See, even if you forget your responsibility and talking about highest ideals, highest spirituality, that is, it will become just gossiping only. Neglecting your responsibility, talking about highest spirituality, it is gossiping, it will not become spiritual talk. So responsibility, you have to behave, you have to live in this society as a responsible person, responsible citizen. That is why Sri Ramakrishna is telling, is through narrating this incident, narrating this, what happened, why he is scolded, through that he is conveying this message to Master Mahashaya. Then after asking, after all this narration, Sri Ramakrishna asking here, are you married? He is asking Sri Ramakrishna. Yes, sir. Sri Ramakrishna with a great, Ramlal, his nephew was there. Ramlal, he is already married. He explained, see, just now he was telling, him being a householder, one can pursue his religious practices, one can pursue spirituality. He has cleared here, but here, when he is asking Sri Ramakrishna, are you married to Master Mahashaya? Yes, of course, he has married. Sri Ramakrishna, Ramlal, alas, he has married. As if something happened, some great offense has been done. Then this, here, like one guilty of a terrible offense, M sat motionless, he is completely dumbfounded. What I have done, great crime, by getting married. His eyes fixed on the ground. He said to himself, Is it such a wicked thing to marry? See, just now I told, he scolded that Pratap Chandra Hazara, you are neglected your duty. But when he asked, are you married? And then when he said positive, then immediately he exclaimed, he was shouting, or are you married? See, as if it's something contradiction. What the earlier statement and the present statement, as if he's contradicting. But you have to understand here, why he has told like this. Why generally, Sri Ramakrishna in his whole of his life, if you study his life, he never asked anyone his personal things, individual, his personal data, never used to ask. Only those who are inner circle, he used to ask. See, before any person, if he sees, immediately he used to scan. He is able to scan whole about his nature and his background, everything. Even his previous past birth also he could scan. Such a powerful, he had so much of power, Sri Ramakrishna had, he could completely can scan and see his past, present, future, everything he could see. Then, as soon as when he saw Master Mahashaya, see, along with him, his friend Siddhu also had come to visit Dakshineshwara. But Sri Ramakrishna did not ask Siddhu's background, but he asked only Master Mahashaya's background. And what are you married? All those things he asked. Why he expressed like this? Why he expressed his agony? He was getting married. Because Sri Ramakrishna wanted him for his mission, exclusively for his own mission. See, suppose he is married, he cannot put leg here and at the same time here. So he wanted Master Mahasaya completely for himself to do his mission, to carry out his mission. What is his mission? To message what he had realized. That highest truth should be given to the society, given to the people, devotees. So for that he had that idea. But when he has married, he has to take care of his family. At the same time he has to work here. Then for that reason he has told, he doesn't mean that he is against somebody is getting married. That you have to understand here. Because immediately when you read that previous message, narration, and his reaction about his marriage, then apparently it looks like contradictory. But if you study carefully, no, he is not against. Later on, Master Mahasaya wanted to renounce, completely get away from his family. Then Sri Ramakrishna forbade him. He dissuaded him, no, you should not rest, you have to do your duty. Sri Ramakrishna told, what is that? Then he himself said, the master continued, have you any children? This time he could hear the beating of his own heart. He whispered in a trembling voice, yes sir, I have children. Already first time when he said I am married, then Sri Ramakrishna, so big reaction. Then when he heard that he has already children, then very sadly Sri Ramakrishna said, oh me, even he has children. You see, what will happen? Person who is sitting before him, that Master Mahasaya bent his head like this, having great mistake as if he has done. Why? Not like that. Sri Ramakrishna didn't want him to insult him. You have to come first thing. Sri Ramakrishna wanted all his ego, remove his ego. First thing. Next thing, he is expressing. Sri Ramakrishna is expressing his love towards him. Not that he is, because he is such a great good nature. Master Mahasaya, unless he had that spiritual power, that spiritual inclination, he could not have come to Sri Ramakrishna. Though he is a householder, though he has married, he had children, because Sri Ramakrishna could see his potentiality, his inner potentiality. So much inner spiritual potentiality is there. but he has to take care of his family. For that reason, he will not be able to renounce everything. For that reason, he expressed his disappointment. Sri Ramakrishna, not that he has married something, he has done something crime, not in that sense. So, very sadly, he expressed his sadness just because, he has got so much inner potentiality, he will not be able to renounce. Because he has got responsibility. He has the duty. He has to take care of his family. He is concerned about his family also. That is, you have to maintain. You have to understand here. Sri Ramakrishna is concerned about his family. At the same time, he is concerned about his inner nature, inner potentiality of spirituality. That is what we see here. So very sadly, Sri Ramakrishna said, he even has children. Thus rebuked him, sat speechless. He became speechless. But our mastermind could not understand why he is behaving, why Sri Ramakrishna is expressing his sadness, my marital status. But actual sadness of Sri Ramakrishna is different. What Master Mahesh understanding is different. Master Mahesh understanding, I have done something great mistake. But Sri Ramakrishna's point of view, not that he has done anything mistake, but he will not be able to completely able to renounce his family. That is the reason. That is the only thing, only reason for his expression of sadness. Thus rebuked him, sat speechless. His pride had received a blow. He had first beginning he had the Western education. Sri Ramakrishna, one thing, first thing what he does, any genuine disciple comes, first he removes all ego, because unless you have ego, you will not be able to receive anything. There is one Buddhist, Zen Buddhist story is there. One Zen master was there. One young man, he wanted to learn Zen. Zen means that is in Japanese language, it is a dhyana. It has gone from India only. Dhyana, it became Zen. So he went to Zen master, sir, I want to learn Zen dhyana, I want to learn. Then he said, okay, I'll try, you sit. Then before that Zen master asking anything, he started narrating all his qualifications. Whole biodata was started giving this young man. So I have studied that one, I have studied this much, and that I know, I have practiced this one. All those, so many list of his qualification he was giving before this Zen master. Then silently, quietly he was listening everything. Then Zen master told, so shall we have coffee? He said, yes, okay. Then Zen master called his attendant to bring cup of coffee and jug. In those places full of jug, separate decoction and milk separate will be there. So he took cup and saucer, placed before him. Then this coffee this Zen master took out that jug and just start pouring. So go on pouring. Then this young man go on narrating his data. Then he was going on pouring. Then what happened? Slowly it filled, and then what happens? If you go on going on pouring, what will happen? It will overflow. It started overflowing. Then that young man noticed, sir, it is overflowing. Please stop it. Then he stopped. Yes, you have come here to learn Zen. You asked me to teach Zen. So you are so many with pride, so many things you are narrating all your glory. If I say something, it will overflow. It will not go inside. First you unburden all those things. You completely empty it. What is there inside? What is that inside? What he has to empty? He has to empty his pride, empty his ego. So as long as your ego is there, whatever I say, you will not be able to receive. So similar, what happens? Everything is filled. The cup is full, already filled. You go on, what will happen? It will overflow, that's all. Similarly, if you have pride, I know this one, I am the so and so, I have so much of money, all those pride is there. So, no teachings will go inside. That is the reason Sri Ramakrishna, what he used to do, first he will break their ego. Because he himself completely free from ego. Sri Ramakrishna never used to say, I have done everything, I have achieved, nothing. Everything mother is telling. See, whenever he used to tell, I want to tell many things, but mother is holding. Mother is telling. He not a single day in his life, Sri Ramakrishna, only once, except in one time, rest of his life, never said, I have done. Well, when he has told, when last day, in Kashipur, January 1st, Kalpaturu day, we celebrate on that day, Kalpaturu day. That day, all other disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, the household disciples, Girish Chandra Ghosh, they were all discussing about Sri Ramakrishna in the garden. Suddenly that day, particularly in January 1st, little bit Sri Ramakrishna felt little bit quite well off. He was really feeling better that day. And he came down from his room. Then he asked, Oh Girish, what are you saying? What are you saying, all those people? Then Girish said, what I can say? Even Vyasa, Valmiki, they could not describe you what I am, ordinary person, can describe about you. See, Vyasa is comparing Sri Ramakrishna as a Rama of Treta Yuga and Krishna of Dwapara Yuga. So, in Dwapara Yuga, Ramayana wrote by Valmiki, Mahabharata written by Vyasa. So, in that context, he is telling, in Vyasa and Valmiki, they could not describe your glory. As being, I am an ordinary mortal. What I can describe about you? When he is told, immediately Sri Ramakrishna went to deep ecstasy, deep samadhi. What I can say? Sri Ramakrishna said, what I can say? Tomar Chaitanya ho, let there be, all be enlightened. He blessed. That is the only one time Sri Ramakrishna said, what I can say. So I bless you, he said. That is the first time I bless you. And all through his life, oh, I cannot bless, only mother will bless. So only mother will talk. See, never identified this as just this body. He identified with Divine Mother. That is why he could not say I. He always used to say mother, mother, mother. So he had the right to crush others, whoever comes before him as any instruction. So he had the right to crush their ego. That is for that reason. First, what he does, Sri Ramakrishna, first thing is crush their ego, remove their ego, and then empty them, make them completely clean. Then he will be able to impart all the knowledge. See, if house is completely dirty, so whatever you bring, any new things, it will not have any glory at all. Anything you purchase new thing, if your house is dirty, it will not have any value. When everything neat and clean, spick and span, then whatever you purchase, everything will have value. Similarly, first thing you have to remove that ego. For that reason, so Sri Ramakrishna, after a few minutes, Sri Ramakrishna looked at him kindly and said, you see, you have certain good signs. I know them by looking at person's forehead. See, beginning itself I told, so he could scan everything. And he himself is telling, you see, you have certain good signs. I know them by looking at person's forehead, his eyes and so on. Tell me now, what kind of person is your wife? Is she a jnani, a wise person, or is she ignorant? See, why he is asking about his wife? See, generally in his life he will not ask any person's data. But he is particularly asking about wife. Because, already I told, Sri Ramakrishna he has seen the potentiality of this Master Mahashaya, spiritual potentiality. But is there any obstruction? If he has any obstruction, so he has got plan. If plan A is not successful, he will have plan B. That is Sri Ramakrishna's plan. Whether his intention is his wife is very Vidyamaya or Avidyamaya. He is asking in the Jnani or wise person, or is she ignorant? She is all right, but I am afraid she is ignorant. See, from M's point of view, let us discuss about M's point of view. Master Mahashaya, this Mahendranath Gupta's point of view is his wife is ignorant. What point of view? His point of view means, and she is illiterate. So his point of view, person who is illiterate, he is an ignorant. But Sri Ramakrishna's point of view is not that. Person who is an illiterate, he can be wise. Then immediately Sri Ramakrishna did not, he expressed his displeasure. He did not like that statement. And you are Jnani? Sarcastically asked. So you are telling about she is all right, but I am afraid she is ignorant. Who are you to say? How are you to judge? Person is ignorant or is wise or ignorant? Just means she does not be able to read and write. She does not know about anything about Shastra, or he or she. We cannot judge them. They are ignorant. Just because of you know so many things, you have so many information, you cannot say that you are a wise person. So in that sense, see, from the point of Master Mahashaya, because she was ordinary housewife. That's all. She does not know how much he is already MA, double MA, or he was at the same time he was a teacher in Vidyasagar school. But she was ordinary housewife. So he is expressing, oh, my wife is ignorant. Then immediately Sri Ramakrishna did not like this statement. Oh, you are a Jnani. So second time, third time, his ego is crushed. So long he was thinking, by first beginning itself, when he came to Dakshineshwar, when he asked that maid servant, has he read so many books? Has he read many books? He is asking that maid servant, Sri Ramakrishna has read many books. No, he has not read. Because she has noticed that Sri Ramakrishna is not reading any books. But all the books, whatever there in the books, everything is there on his tongue. She told. That time itself, one ego is blow. He got big blow of his ego. Blow to his ego. And here, second time, have you married? That second blow. Third blow, have you children? The third blow. And the fourth blow is almost final blow, I think. This is the one of his ego. So, do you think you are Jnani? So, then slowly now Sri Ramakrishna is training Master Mahashaya. What is Jnana? What is wisdom? What is knowledge? So, right knowledge, right wisdom is teaching. And so long he was thinking that, so reading so many books, having so many informations, we are great. We are intellectuals. So many people have know many things. We may call them intellectuals. Doesn't mean that wisdom, wise people. See, society requires wise people, not just intellectuals. So now everywhere in TV debates and all intellectuals, so many they think they know everything. See, intellectuals will not have any helpful to society. Apart from your intelligence, you require wisdom. How to use your knowledge. Person should have the wisdom to use all his knowledge. Then only society will develop. Otherwise, that is why we call them avatars. Sri Krishna, Rama avatara. Sri Krishna, he was not an intellectual. Lord Krishna, he was a great wise man. What is right, what is wrong? He knew. Here Sri Ramakrishna is a wise man. He did not go to school at all. He does not even, hardly used to go only to play. He used to go in his childhood days, he used to go to school only to play, that's why. Now he never read. But he is a wise man. All the Shastras on his tongue. Through experience. Person only, see, Shankaracharya, you may say, people say he is a great intellect. He is not only great intellect, he was a great wise. He is a wise man. He had great wisdom. That is Shankaracharya himself says. See, to understand, that is what just now I was telling, Sampradaya. What is Sampradaya? I was talking about what type of Sampradaya. Sampradaya doesn't mean that one tradition, some tradition, some rituals. Adi Shankaracharya is talking about Sampradaya. To understand this Shastra, he says that Sampradaya is, three things are necessary. What is that? Shruti, Yukti and Anubhava. These three things are necessary. Those who have followed these three things, through them only you have to receive the knowledge. That is the tradition. So here that tradition is Shankara is telling. Not that something tradition of something rituals. Something do's and don'ts. That was not he is telling. He is telling Shruti. You have to listen carefully the Shastra and then understand Yukti by intellectually, by using your intelligence, and then not only understanding by reasoning, understanding the Shruti Vakya by reasoning, apart from that you have to experience it in your life. So all the three things you will find in Sri Ramakrishna. That is why he has got right, because that is why we call him Avatar Varishtha. Because all those three things he heard from childhood, he is gone listening. See, though Sri Ramakrishna did not go to school, he did not read much books. He did not read many books. But he heard lot of things. He heard from sadhus. See, in Kamarpukur, when he was small boy, so many sadhus used to come. They used to, among themselves, used to discuss. He used to go and sit and listen, everything. And then he himself used to discuss along with them. So like that you receive the knowledge. So after receiving, but by his own inner nature, innate nature, reasoning and questioning, through that questioning and inner nature reasoning, and then finally he put it into practice and experienced. He realized we are worshipping so many temples, so many temples, even before Sri Ramakrishna, advent of Sri Ramakrishna, so many temples were there, so many priests were doing puja. How many of them have realized? Only Sri Ramakrishna went there, he questioned. That is why, that is Tadvidya Pranipatena Pariprashnena Sevaya. In Sri Krishna Bhagavad Gita says, oh Arjuna, you have to ask question with great reverence and then think. And not only that, all those teachings after imparting all those knowledge to Arjuna, finally what he says, Yatechasi Tatha Guru. Do as you like. He allowed him to think. Just whatever you accept. He did not say like this. Sri Ramakrishna will come to know. So whatever Sri Ramakrishna himself says, whatever I say, head and tail, you remove head and tail and take essence only. He used to tell. Because he used to allow people to think themselves. That is the necessary for spirituality, any spiritual knowledge, anything what you will do, any knowledge, not only spiritual, secular knowledge also. When you imparting some certain subject to the children, you should make them to think first. So that is we are lacking in our education system. Not allowing children to think. That is the greatest mistake. So that was not the tradition of our Indian, in our Sanatana Dharma. In those days, gurus, they will teach something, they have to think. The Sri Ramakrishna, same thing, he taught all his disciples like that only. You think, I have given. So similarly, what Master Mahashya was thinking about, he was telling, oh, I am afraid my wife is ignorant. So he did not like it. See, ignorance doesn't mean that what you know. Knowledge through experience only we can say, yes, I have got knowledge. See, these books, any science, first, so for example, take an example, a scientist, Newton. First, Newton discovered this gravitation force by reading books? No. What he saw when apple fell down, then he observed and thought, then he came to the conclusion that yes, there is a gravitational force. Afterwards only he wrote book. Now knowledge has come first book has come, after knowledge has come? No. First knowledge comes, then only it will come in the form of books. That we have to understand. So Sri Ramakrishna, first he experienced. So now we are reading is what he experienced, what he has told, we are reading books. We are getting knowledge through books. It doesn't mean that we should not read books. But whatever you read, whatever you listen, whatever you receive, first you have to think, reasoning, and you have to experience it. That is what Sri Ramakrishna meant here. About he is telling, so she is master with evident displeasure, and you are a jnani. M showed she is all right, but I am afraid she is ignorant. He was telling about his wife, but master expressed his displeasure, and you are a jnani. M had yet to learn the distinction between knowledge and ignorance. The next paragraph is here. He himself, his own Master Mahashaya Mahendranath Gupta himself is writing. So all his experience, we should be very grateful, thankful to this Master Mahashaya. Whatever experience, what he experienced after meeting Sri Ramakrishna, everything is he expressing in his book. Because this gospel, he could have written whatever all good things, what Sri Ramakrishna has told, what Sri Ramakrishna praised about him. Those things he could have written, but he's great, very sincere. We should be very great. You have to appreciate this Master Mahashaya. He accepting his ignorance. See, it is teaching for us. See, through Sri Ramakrishna also teaching here, and Master Mahashaya Mahendranath Gupta also teaching us. Because he completely down to earth. He has come down to earth. He accepted, yes, his ignorance. So, actually, he is written everything in the third person. M himself is telling about him. M had yet to learn the distinction between knowledge and ignorance. Up to this time, he had thought one got knowledge from books and schools. Later on, he gave up this false idea. He was taught that to know God is knowledge and not to know Him ignorance. So when Sri Ramakrishna exclaimed, and you are a jnani, M's ego was again badly shocked. So here, so then only came to know. Sri Ramakrishna clearly says, he who knows God, he is a knowledgeable person. Who does not know God, he is an ignorant. Very clear. This is the conclusion. Master, well, do you believe in God with form or without form? See, up to here, one set of things over. Next, second aspect is coming. Here, almost the final blow is going to get. It is final blow of ego. Blow to his ego. M, rather surprised, said to himself, how can one believe in God without form when one believes in God with form? And if one believes in God without form, how can one believe that God has a form? Can those two contradictory ideas be true at the same time? Can a white liquid like a milk be black? See, he was thinking about himself. When Sri Ramakrishna asked about God with form, do you believe in God with form? So long he was thinking that God only without form. See, he belongs to Brahma Samaj. He was a member of Brahma Samaj. For that reason only he was thinking how it is possible, God with form and without form. So, sir, I like to think of God as formless. Master said, very good. it is enough to have faith in either aspect. You believe in God with thought form. That is quite alright. But never for a moment think that this alone is true and all else is false. Remember that God with form is just as true as God without form. But hold fast to your own conviction. This has to very deeply you have to discuss more. Even now also people have got that doubt. How God without form? And we are fighting. Some people, they only idol worship is correct. Some people are idolaters. If any person who worship idol, they are idolaters. Still many people have got that. So this one, Shastra itself clearly says, so long these people, these ideas came by Brahmo Samaj, these Western ideas. This idol, God with form, without form, or every form is God idea, because you have to understand completely distinctly what Sanatana Dharma says. Why we are accepting this idol worship? Because in other religion, you are not criticizing. What is there you have to understand. Because, see, unless you have to study other religion, what their concept is. Sri Ramakrishna is not telling they are wrong. We are not telling that they are wrong. It doesn't mean they are the only thing right. That is not correct. This is the only thing. What is mine? Why my idol is only correct? That is wrong. Because this is whole universe. This is something beyond. This God is beyond form and formless. He is beyond everything. Our concept is God has manifested Himself as this universe. But other Abrahamic religion, other than Sanatana Dharma, the creation is, what you have to understand, creation is God has created and He is apart from this world, apart from this universe. Their problem comes. Say, apart from God, apart from this universe, apart from this world, then this cannot be God, any form. But Sanatana Dharma, what he says, this whole universe, manifestation of same reality. When same reality is manifested as this universe, so everything, every item, every matter, every item in this world, every creation in this world is the same manifestation of God only. So this could not understand. This idea, this Master Mahashaya could not understand. Because he was influenced by Brahma Samaj. Brahma Samaj accepted God as full of mercy, God as full of compassion, but he is without form. That is the thing. But he could not understand this God can be without form, and then he can be form with form also, because Sri Ramakrishna is clearly giving the idea of Sanatana Dharma. What is the Sanatana Dharma? Sanatana Dharma, what it says. If you read the Vishnu Sahasranama, Vishwam Vishnurva Shatkaro Bhota Bhavya Bhavat Prabhu, when he starts, Vishwam, that means, oh Maha Paramatma. Vishnu means not that four-hand Vishnu, Shankachakra, not Vishnu. Paramatma, Vishnu has manifested Vishwam. He has manifested as this universe, and Vishwam Vishnu. Vishnu means pervaded. He himself entered. So, pervaded and he entered everything. So, in that sense, if you understand in that line, if you read all Upanishads and Vishnu Sahasranama, Lalita Sahasranama, then clearly you will be able to understand the statement of Sri Ramakrishna. What Sri Ramakrishna, God can be with form and without form, not only in many forms, Sri Ramakrishna says. There are plenty of forms. So, further we will discuss in the next class. little deeper we can go, so that every statement of Sri Ramakrishna, it will be helpful for us for our own spiritual upliftment. And once if that clarity is there, it will be easy for us to practice. It will be easy for us to practice spirituality, and with clear mind, we'll have devotion. So we'll not have any contradiction with anyone. So we'll be able to accept everything. So why Sanatana Dharma accepts everything? What made this Sanatana Dharma accepting every path is right? Ekam Sadyukta Bhoda Vadanti. Rigveda statement says, the truth is one. There are so many paths. Away from all these ideas. This is the idea. Sri Ramakrishna is not telling something new. He is not telling something new. He is telling what is there already. What is written in Vedas. What is written in, what is said in Vedas. What is said in Upanishads. Same thing, because he experienced. He has experienced. So let us discuss the same thing. So Master is telling, very good. It is enough to have faith in either aspect. You believe in God without form, that is quite alright, but never for a moment think that this alone is true and all is false. Remember that God with form is just as true as God without form, but hold fast to your own conviction. This is the most important thing. Okay, everything is right. Today I will do this one, then tomorrow I will change this one. That is not correct. Whatever you hold on, whatever your path you are holding on, you hold on to that till the end, till you realize. Don't jump one ideal to another ideal. That is not correct. So something is, it looks very beautiful. Okay, this let me follow for some days this path. Oh, and then I am getting bored. No, let me change. That is not correct. So whatever according to you find out your nature, what is your nature. That's why Sri Ramakrishna in his life, all to his disciples, he could find out what is his nature. You following that path. And especially for Swamiji, clearly, he wanted Swami Vivekananda to become staunch Advaiti. But he was in the beginning, Swami Vivekananda, so much he ridiculed this Advaitic philosophy. What? This is Brahman, the clock also Brahman, this tumbler also Brahman, this mic also Brahman. What nonsense he was telling. Then Sri Ramakrishna came at first, he was discussing with Pratap Hazara, other visitors. Oh, Narayan, what you are talking? And so he was telling all this, Narayan is ridiculing this Advaitic thought. Then Sri Ramakrishna came and one touch. Just he touched. So Narendranath Swami Vivekananda lost his outer consciousness, completely lost. Everything, everywhere sees. Same reality. Continued 3 days he was in that state. Because when he lost even his own body, he saw same light. Then one day what happened, he was saying in that mood, what happened, whether I have body or not, that while coming from Dakshineshwar to his house, there was a railing. Those who do bar railing will be there. That exercise they do railings. So with the iron railing, he went and started hitting his own head to that railing. Blood was oozing, but still he was not having any pain. Because Narayan completely lost his consciousness. He saw same reality. So that is why, he could see, then completely changed. Narayan had already he had that inner nature. Sri Ramakrishna wanted that what is there in his inside, real nature, he wanted to bring out. So he could recognize what is his nature. So he specifically, Sri Ramakrishna made Swami Vivekananda staunch Advaiti. After this incident, then Sri Ramakrishna asked him to read Ashtavakra Gita, Ashtavakra Samhita. It is Ashtavakra is a completely out and out Advaiti. It is he denies whole creation at all. Absolutely Advaita. So he taught Narendra the highest Advaita. All other disciples he taught Bhakti. Then some devotees, devotees or some disciples, you do Harinam Sankirtana. Do Harinam Sankirtana, daily japa you do. See, he did not tell only this is the right thing, this is the only thing. He did not tell like this. He could see his nature. Accordingly, he is to impart. Because ultimately, what Sri Ramakrishna is telling, any path, whether you go in this path or that path, the reality is one. Chato mat tato path. Sri Ramakrishna said, as many faiths, so many paths. So ultimately you will reach same goal, but you have to go in this path one, because your nature is this. That is why don't force anyone to your ideal. Don't. That is why I understood. See, so many missionaries, why Sanatana Dharma, Sanatana Hinduism did not spread. It spread. Hindu ideology, Sanatana Dharma, this highest knowledge gone up to Greece, many parts of country. But there was no religion that is organized religion, because we never believe in that organized religion. Because we believe in freedom. And freedom wants you should have freedom to choose your own path. Because ultimate goal of human life is to have freedom. What is that freedom? Freedom from this bondage. That is, when you want freedom from bondage, you follow the path. That only taught. So we did not organize. So if you try to organize something, then again you are binding something. If you organize something, organize is necessary, no doubt. Organization, Ramakrishna mission, this is also bondage. But organization necessary only to some extent. But ultimately you have to go beyond all these things. All these everything ultimately, this also becomes Maya. So we have to go beyond Maya. So for that reason, this religion not organized, this is the reason. To have freedom. So this is the same thing Sri Ramakrishna is telling. What he is telling, moment to think that, so remember that God with form is just as true as God without form. But hold fast to your own conviction. Whatever, this is mine, this is the only right, don't think like that. Every path leads to same goal. That is the idea he wants to give. So let us discuss further in the next class. Not coming Sunday. Next to next Sunday we will have same gospel class. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.